All right, let's get started. For those of you who don't know me or don't know me well, my name is Sarah Outlaw, and this is Natural Health Improvement Center of South Jersey. I am a holistic healthcare practitioner, herbalist, and nutritionist, and my reason for becoming one is so that I can help people get well without the use of drugs or surgery. So we handle everything in this office from digestive issues to ADD, ADHD. We have quite a few patients that are going through cancer right now that we are helping to support. We have everybody from newborn babies to fertility to pregnant women, all sorts of different things that we have that come through these doors, and we are able to help all of them in some capacity or another. So tonight we're having a very special workshop. We usually do more topical things like adrenal health or mental health or all those types of things. We're doing essential oils. So we did this exactly 1 year ago. And I think a lot of people would have liked us to have done it a little bit more because it was a very popular class then. It's fun because you get to come up and you get to smell a lot of different oils. Whereas if you were just going online ordering, you wouldn't really know how they smell, not sure if you like them, you get them, you're like, not really my style kind of thing. So we have lots of things, and these are, I think they're all open, so we can test them all out. I have a couple of brands that I like and use. We'll be going over some brands and, you know, pros and cons of things tonight as well. But I wanted to go through, I have a PowerPoint presentation. I'm going to be doing some giveaways and also giving you some good information to take away tonight on how to use them in your home. So let's go ahead and get started. If you have any questions, just feel free to raise your hand and I'll answer them as we go along. Really informal kind of a talk tonight. If anybody who is not a patient would like a 5-minute health screening tonight after the talk, I'm more than happy to give a health screening. You just have to let Clarissa know, and she'll give you a little form to fill out, and that is a free little health screening that we do at our workshops to give people an idea about what we do, which is nutrition response testing. And I can give you a little bit of an overview of what that is at the end of the talk as well. So let's go through the PowerPoint here. So we're going to talk about what essential oils are. So essential oils are the volatile or rapidly evaporating aromatic oils that are produced by plants. It takes 60 whole roses to make just 1 drop of precious essential oil. So rose essential oil, pure rose essential oil is very, very, very expensive, and it's hard to get because it is so difficult to make, and it takes so many rose petals for 1 drop. So it's hundreds and hundreds of dollars usually for a little bottle of it. So they are made by steam distillation, so they are distilled, and they're captured through vaporization. An example of this would be lavender, peppermint, and ylang-ylang. There are also other ones called cold pressed essential oils, and that's not on your thing, it's on your sheet, so some of the stuff won't be on the slides. Cold pressed oils are all citrus oil, so they're made a little bit differently. So they actually cold press these, and they use the peels to extract the oil, so it's extracted from the peels. Whereas other ones are maybe the leaves or the flowers or other parts of the plant. So come on in. It's okay. Go ahead and have a seat. Clarissa, can you get them some? So solvent extracted is used more for the delicate plants, and some solvents are toxic, though some are not, depending on what you do. And these oils are not recommended for therapeutic use. So jasmine, vanilla, and rose, if they are expelled a certain way with toxins, a toxin, hexane, or whatever they're using, you might not want to use them therapeutically on your skin because then you're going to be absorbing the toxins as well. You can use them for perfumes and aromas and things like that, but not necessarily for therapeutic use. All right, so if you look up here again, we're talking about the amount of leaves or plant material it takes to make 1 drop of essential oil. So we've got the peppermint, we have 26 cups of peppermint tea equals 1 drop of peppermint essential oil. So as an herbalist, I am not a fan of, we have more chairs, we can get more closer.
We're good.
Are you sure? I have 2 over here. We have 2 over here, 1 here. Are you sure? Okay. I'm not a huge fan of internal use daily or even not so daily, of essential oils. I'm not a fan of putting a drop in water and drinking it. There's a better and safer way to take essential oils internally if you want to use them internally, but because oil and water does not mix, and we'll talk about this a lot more as we go through, putting them in water and drinking them is not the best or the safest way to take them. And there are some oils that are better to use internally or with your food or things like that, but if you're going to have lemon in your water, it's better just to squeeze some lemon in your water, or throw a lemon slice in there rather than this high concentration. There are no long-term studies of the effects of what it does to the esophagus and the stomach and all of that, but there have been some effects documented of some negative effects like burning and things like that have going on, some erosion of the esophagus of the hotter oil. So we're going to be talking a lot more about safety as we go through. That's one of my main things I want to make a point of is essential oil safety, because since essential oils have become really popular in the recent years, a lot more calls to poison control with essential oil exposure from misuse. And I think that it's important to be educated as to what the safety precautions are when using such a highly concentrated oil, especially the hot oils like cinnamon, oregano, those types of hot oils, because they can burn your skin. So it takes about 75 lemon peels to make one 15 ml bottle of a lemon essential oil. This is 15 ml. So 75 lemon peels. That's a lot of lemons. So if you think about a massive amount of plant material needed to manufacture these bottles, we want to use them a little more sparingly and use them as medicine and not just kind of put them in everything. So we'll talk about that too. And then we talked a little bit already about it is on the slide, about how they are made. They're out of order. All right, so this is a cool little graphic here. This is from Mountain Rose Herbs, which I credit a lot of their information. I like their information on their site. You can get essential oils there as well. I have some of their oils up here. Mountain Rose Oils has a full line of essential oils that are organic, and a lot of people use them to make different body care products, preparations, things like that. So it shows you how it is steam distilled. So you have the heat on the bottom, you have the herb above it. The steam goes up through the herb and vaporizes it, and it turns into a vaporized oil. Then you have a condensing chamber that is surrounded by cold water. The oil goes through, and then it's separated out in the final process. So then you have an essential oil on the top that comes out this side, and then you have a hydrosol, which I didn't bring my hydrosols tonight, I forgot to grab them. But there's another byproduct of essential oils that are called a hydrosol that people use as a spray, and it's a lighter scent, and it's just the water part of it, hydro water. But it's really cool to use those too. They're less expensive and they are pretty safe to use. People use them for linen sprays, room sprays, but they come in a little spray bottle already, so you don't have to blend and do things like that. So it's a water-based scented botanical oil. It's very nice. And then we have the essential oils, obviously, that pull out on the side, and then they get bottled up and shipped out. All right, so let's talk about quality. You want to look for pure or aromatic plant oils without dilutants. So a lot of essential oils on Amazon or the cheaper essential oils will have different things that are added to them that are a problem. So preservatives type things, or maybe flavor oil, or some kind of other ingredient that's not necessarily part of the essential oil, they just have it in there. Or it's cheapened by mixing it with other things. So it's okay if you have an oil and you know it's already mixed with a carrier oil. So for example, I think I have some Rose Absolute up here somewhere. It's not pure rose oil, it's mixed with jojoba oil. Here it is, Rose Otto. So it's already blended with jojoba oil as a skin oil or aromatherapy, but it's not pure rose oil, so it's much, much cheaper. But you know that going into it. You know you're not getting 100% of an essential oil. It's blended. You're still going to get the scent, so it's more for perfuming, things like that. If I'm going to make a big batch of body lotion and put a couple drops of this in, it's already mixed with the jojoba. It's very pleasant, but it's not that super expensive oil. Still has the same value because we're not using it for therapeutic, remember, because the roses tend to be more toxin solvent type thing. So look for the Latin name on the plant of the plant on the label. So it's always good to look and make sure that you're getting what it says you're getting, because there's different plants have different names, the Latin names. You want to make sure that they put the Latin name on it so you know what you're getting. Something shouldn't be in essential oils if it's the wrong plant, so you have to be careful of that. Do not buy oils that say are from Amazon unless they're being fulfilled directly by the company they are coming from. So an example of this is plant therapy is okay to buy on Amazon as long as it says fulfilled by plant therapy, or from plant therapy. If it's from a third-party seller, do not buy. eBay, no other places. You should never buy a third-party sale, because what people are doing, it's very easy to do. It's just one little machine. So all you have to do is you undo a bottle, you dump it out, you put a couple drops of essential oil back in, you fill the rest of it up with another oil like an unscented oil, like a vegetable oil of some kind, and then you put the lid back on. The little machine thing will you'll get the new band, so it's resealed. And then you think you have a sealed bottle of whatever it is. They make you spend whatever amount of money on it, and when you get it, it's not. It's definitely not. So that's how they make their money, because they can make a million bottles of these, things. They just take 1 or 2 drops out. It still smells like it, right? You're still getting the smell, and you can't really tell the strength by just smelling it. But they are adulterated and not what they say they are. So you have to really be careful when buying oils indirectly from other people. So just watch, buyer beware. So don't buy oils that say fragrance oils in the label. These are not essential oils. They're made in a lab. These are synthetic. They are not considered an essential oil. There is no such thing as far as essential oil like cucumber melon. That's not an essential oil. That is a fragrance oil. As much as we all love that cucumber melon smell, it's not a naturally occurring oil. They don't make essential oils out of cucumber. So that's just an example, not to bash the cucumber melon fans, but that's just an example of one that's not an essential oil. That was one of my favorites when I was a teenager. So therapeutic grade is simply a marketing term. Don't shoot the messenger. There are more than just 2 reputable essential oil companies. So the network marketing people would like to have you believe that Young Living and doTERRA are the only 2 that are they're the 2 of the best. They are 2 of the best, but they're not the only ones that you should buy from. So I use a bunch of different ones, and I like them. My favorite happens to be doTERRA. I've used that. It's one of the longest ones I've used, and I like the way it works in my Bath and Body products that I make. I like the way that it diffuses, and I just like the strength and the quality. And some of the blends in the other ones I don't like. But I also like plant therapy for kids. I think they have lots of really, really good and much less on the expensive side. I like some of Young Living's. I like our Acacia for some of the Bath and Body stuff, like for the rose oils that I can't get anywhere else. So you can kind of pick and pull. You don't have to be brand specific. Even if you are a rep, which I have an account with doTERRA and Young Living, you don't have to be exclusive. I don't have people under me or anything. So, whew. Hope we don't lose our lights with this storm. So anyway, we'll all run screaming. So that's just something to keep in mind. If someone says, oh, these are pure grade therapeutic essential oils, that's a marketing term. There's no real regulating body. That's just something that people say to make you feel better about the oils. Yes, you want a therapeutic grade. You know that you're going to get a better quality, but there's really no one regulating that. So it's kind of like they're just saying it. So take it for what it's worth. All right, so are essential oils safe? Yes and no. They are safe, but oh, interesting. Oh, great. Here we go. We like to say that less is best and use with care. So less is more as far as drops in your diffuser. Less is more with the drops in your different preparations that you do. So these are highly concentrated aromatics, and they enter through the olfactory system, so through the nose and the skin. They lead directly to the brain and the bloodstream. So there's really nothing stopping them from just going in and doing what they're going to do. So you have to be really careful when using them, because if you make a mistake and you don't want something on your skin, it's already in there. It's too late. And it's really hard to get it off your skin once it's on there. I picked up a bottle and had it be leaking, and I'm like, my skin's burning. And if you use water, it makes it worse. It's almost like if you have a hot pepper and you try to drink water. So sometimes if that happens, I'll run to the sink and I'll get to soap and just get some soap on my hand and rub the soap in, and the oils from the soap kind of neutralize it a little bit. The best thing to do if that does happen is just grab some kind of an oil. So grab an olive oil, whatever their closest oil you can grab, and put it directly on the essential oil that might be burning. These are usually the hot oils, like your thieves oil, your on guards, those hot oils that have the cinnamon and the clove and the oregano oils. Those tend to be the ones that you can feel it within a couple of seconds. It's stinging on your skin. So you gotta watch those. Can I do the storage? Is there a storage one in here? No. Okay. All right. So the plant properties cause therapeutic changes both emotionally and physiologically within our body. So essential oils can be used both for emotional wellness and physical wellness, and also just to clean your home, just to get the cleaning properties. So there's so many uses that it's pretty wonderful. Essential oils have to be detoxed by the liver and kidneys, and some plant aromatics are hard to process. Even using larger amounts of safe essential oils can be harmful to certain populations like children, people with compromised liver or kidney health, animals, and pregnant women. We highly recommend seeking the guidance of a qualified healthcare practitioner in these cases. So some cases, if you're constantly using the hotter oils, there is a possibility that your organs could get heated up a little bit. They say in Chinese medicine they call it a hot organ. Liver, kidneys, you don't want your body to be in a constant state of heat. You want it to be able to be more balanced. So when people are drinking things, especially like the oregano oil, and drinking it too much for more than just maybe a sore throat, it can heat up the organs to a point where you don't want them to be heated. So herbalists such as myself, we look at people's overall health constitutions, whether they're hot, they're cold, they're dry, damp. There's all these different things that we factor into when we do the therapies that we do to figure out where a person's coming from. Some of us tend to be really cold, cold, we're always cold. Some of us are hot all the time. There's all these different things that we look at, and some of these oils can be contraindicated for certain people because it can make your body hotter or make you colder, so we don't want that to happen. So you don't always have to find a practitioner to say, is this oil okay? Is this oil okay? You can kind of use your own discretion, but if you're going to be using them for some major therapeutic reason, you might want to get the opinion of someone that can say, okay, this is not okay, type of thing. So that's what we do for that. All right, so dilute, dilute, dilute. That's you'll hear me say that a lot. Dilute your essential oils. Most of the essential oil companies that are out there, they're saying that most of them don't have to be diluted. You can just put them directly on the skin neat. That is not the case. All oils should always be diluted. The only exceptions being Melaleuca, which is tea tree oil, and lavender oil, but even those you can develop a sensitivity to. Here you go. A sensitivity to if you're not really careful. How do you use that? Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, there's one chair there. There's two chairs there.
Does that help with absorption, or is that just to protect you?
It does help with absorption as well. Yeah, it does. So.
You say dilute with water?
With oil, not a carrier oil. So what we're doing when we say dilute, so you should always dilute essential oils with a carrier oil of some kind. This can be an organic vegetable oil, a hydrosol, a witch hazel extract, or alcohol. So it could be jojoba, almond, apricot oil, olive oil, coconut oil, any kind of an oil, sesame, any kind of an oil, you would dilute it in. And we're going to go through the dilutions here.
You mean like in a diffuser?
Not when you're diffusing, when you're doing topical.
Okay.
Yeah, so you only need to dilute them when you can put them straight into the diffuser because it's not touching your skin.
Right, it's in water.
Right, but when you are using them on your skin, you want to always have them diluted with something, and we'll show you how to do that in a moment. So,
does it matter what, like, is certain oils better with the dilutant, or whatever it's called? Like, should peppermint be with something like coconut, or is it?
no, whatever oil, whatever carrier, yeah. I use coconut oil. That's what I use the most of, or olive oil. Those two. Whenever I make salves, all those salves that I make with essential oils and other herbs, I use olive oil specifically because it's a little bit cheaper than the coconut oil because I mass produce those, so it can be a little bit cheaper with olive oil. And I like the therapeutic effect of the olive oil and the way it smells with the herbs. So. But you can use any kind of oil. Just make sure the oil's not rancid. So watch, the vegetable oils can be rancid, and you know in rancid oil when you open that lid and it smells off, then get rid of the oil. It gets rancid. Oil tends to oxidize and light. So if you have old oil sitting in your house, I just unpacked I have a home apothecary that I just finally finished after living in my house since July. Finally finished unpacking it, and my cat helped me. If you're on my Facebook page, you saw I have a bunch of cats in my house. We live on a farm, so we have lots of cats. But he tried to help me, and he made it worse. So it took me a lot longer to unload all the essential oils and everything. But going through all the oils that have been packed up, not the essential ones, but the carrier oils, a lot of them had gone rancid. They were out in the a hot room with in a box, and as soon as you open that lid, they just smell off. It just smells like rotten oil. It's gross. So I threw them all away, and then I'll just replace and get new oils. So always do a patch test with your diluted oil. Never just put oil straight on your skin or even dilute it without doing a patch test. I'll do it on my arm or somewhere on my leg where I can always cover up if I get in a reaction. Some people are sensitive to certain things. Some people are really super sensitive to citrus, for example, and that they put citrus on their skin, it can cause some problems. So if you do a little patch test and leave it for overnight, you'll know in the morning if you're having a reaction to that specific oil. And some people are sensitive to the hotter oils, and they'll get an itchy contact dermatitis. So when you can tell once you put it on, you can get itchy or whatever. Then you just know not to put that on your skin, and maybe it's better to just use that as an aromatherapy. So something to keep in mind. So always avoid the mucous membranes like the eyes and the mouth unless you're under the care of a practitioner. These oils can be very caustic and cause serious chemical burns. Research of the oil's properties before use to make sure it isn't contraindicated for your health. There are some oils that should not be used on small children or pregnant women. So always make sure that the oils that you're using are safe. There's lots of websites that you can visit to say, or even just Google, for example, is Clary Sage oil contraindicated if I'm trying to become pregnant or if I have a certain illness? You can always just look it up and look for a website that will give you some information about that. There's way too many oils to ever for me to publish that kind of a list and give it to you because there's literally hundreds and hundreds of oils. There are pages and pages, but you can always look up a specific oil. Okay, so if you're going to do like a massage oil and you're going to be using a lot of product on the skin, so I have a fertility oil that I use that I make. It smells really, really good. But if I'm going to be using a lot of oil, you would do a 1% dilution. It's called a 1% dilution. So it would be 5 to 6 drops per ounce of the carrier oil, which remember is the coconut oil. I like fractionated coconut oil. Do you know what fractionated coconut oil is? No. It stays liquid. So most of the time, if you get coconut oil in the store for cooking, it's solid above, if it's 75 degrees, it's going to be a liquid, and it's below 75 degrees, it tends to turn more solid below 75, liquid above. If you want something to stay liquid, if you're making some kind of like one of these, like a roller, and you don't want it to turn solid on you, because you can't roll out the top if it's solid, then you get something called fractionated coconut oil. We don't usually use this for cooking. We just use this for topical use, for cosmetic use. And you can I get mine on Amazon, and I just get in big, Plant Therapy actually sells them through Amazon for really good prices. And I usually get like a half a quart of it, and they come in bottles. And I get a bunch of them, and that's what I use to make preparations like bug sprays and things like that, because it stays liquid. You don't have to worry about if you go in an air-conditioned room not being able to spray it through the bottle. So that's my little tip for what oil I like to use for preparations for that. 2% dilution is 10 to 12 drops per ounce of a carrier, appropriate for aromatherapy applications and body care recipes. So if you're doing something for aromatherapy and you want to make like some kind of a lotion, and you're going to inhale, because you want it to be good for inhaling throughout the day, then you would do 10 to 12 drops per ounce of a carrier and make yourself some kind of like a spray lotion, or even a carrier oil can be a solid lotion of some kind. So if you had a plain unscented lotion that you like, a natural kind of organic lotion that's unscented, you can add a blend of essential oils to it in this appropriate dilution, 10 to 12 drops. So if you had 2 kinds of essential oils you liked, like lavender maybe, or maybe a citrus, you could blend 5 drops of each if you want, or 6 drops of each in your lotion, shake it up real good, and you have a scented lotion. So you can do that as well and make your own scented lotions. And there's plenty of more natural type of lotions out there that you can get that are unscented, that you can scent yourself. That's always fun. You can kind of feel like your own little lotion making chemist. All right, so let's talk a little bit more about using essential oils internally, because there's so much misinformation out there, and people get really upset about this. I've had people get really mad about this whole, because everyone's putting their stuff in their water and they're freaking out on me because I'm saying, don't put that in your water. It's important to know what to use, when, and how to use it safely, because like I said, there is some issues with burning the esophagus, burning the stomach lining. We don't want to do that. We have enough digestive issues as a whole anyway. We don't need to make them worse by thinking we're doing something really good. So along with the international aromatherapy community, we say that you should never use essential oils internally without the guidance of a qualified healthcare practitioner. So that is what I would say as my general. While there are some essential oils that can be used safely internally, this is a safer path to take, especially without the skilled supervision of a practitioner. Essential oils can be incredibly caustic, which means burning, causing burns or irritating the mucus lining of your digestive tract. However, some oils can be safely used in cooking. So there are a lot of oils that are out there that would be used in cooking safely, like the lemon oil, lime oil, there's black pepper oil, all these different ones, the food oils. There's oregano oil, there's, what other ones? Trying to think. Marjoram, basil, so the herb type oils. You can use them in cooking, and because you are cooking with fats and meats and things like that, they're being emulsified with those fats, and it's almost like they're in a carrier oil, so they're safer. And they're spread out throughout the dish, so you're not getting that concentrated oil in your mouth as if you were drinking it down.
You don't kill the nutrients when you're cooking?
You're not going to get the therapeutic, you're not going to get the therapeutic effect of the oil. You're mostly just going to use it for the flavoring.
Oh, okay.
So if you're trying to get the therapeutic use of it, it's pretty much going to go away if you heat it too high. So for example, there's a grain-free pancake recipe that I make for my kids, where I put in it's lemon, and I put a couple of drops of lemon essential oil in the batter, and it's like 3 cups of batter, and there's only a few drops of the lemon oil in there, and it just gives it a little bit of a hint of a lemon flavor, and you can't taste it once it's in there. I mean, you can taste the lemon, but it's not like a burning lemon because it's emulsified. The same thing with when you're doing, and I think we'll talk about it later, but maybe not. Not to put it in your bath water directly. Always put in, like if you're gonna make an Epsom salt bath, mix the drops of essential oils in with the salts, and then throw the salts in there. That way they're kind of emulsified a little bit. Because what happens is, like I said, oil and water doesn't mix. So when you put the essential oils in the bath water plain, they tend to float to the top. So when you get in, one part of your body might get it all absorbed at once. So if you want the therapeutic effect, you mix it with your bath salts. It's throughout the whole bath. You get in, it's already in everywhere, and your whole body gets the benefit, and not just one concentrated spot. It reduces the effect of perhaps getting contact dermatitis or a sensitivity. Once someone has been sensitized to an oil, it's pretty much permanent. So a lot of people, they have a lavender sensitivity, or they get sensitized to something. Your body's always going to have that sensitivity. So you have to always be careful about that. Oh, someone asked me last time, as an aside, about the estrogenic effects of tea tree oil and lavender. There was a study done saying that you shouldn't use lavender or tea tree oil in boys because it would make them girly. It was one study, and it was kind of not, it was a really bad study. And I'm into studies because I have another degree that I'm doing right now. It's all studies. It's a master's in applied clinical nutrition. It's all we do is look at studies. So studies are kind of my thing now, and this one was bad. It was a badly done study, and it became gospel. So they said, if you use tea tree oil, lavender on your boys, they're going to get too much estrogen, and they're going to be really girly. So it's a bunch of crap. And I would say you can be careful. Yes, those oils do, there's a lot of oils because there's such high concentrated plants that there's going to be a higher level of plant estrogens and phytoestrogens in them. You just have to watch. So you don't want to use tons of it. But if you're using 1 or 2 drops here and there, it's not going to be the end of the world. So people they wouldn't put their Melaleuca oil, the tea tree oil on their kids' cuts anymore. They wouldn't put them in the bath. They didn't want to use lavender for stuff, and it was a big disaster. I think it was like 2 years ago. It was a big thing. So we just kind of use caution and don't use a ton of it. So oil and water doesn't mix. We talked about this. Lemon oil and drinking water, peppermint oil to make tea. I always say Why not just use a squeeze of a fresh lemon juice or make a cup of peppermint tea with nature's perfect dosage of aromatics. So save the essential oils for other things. If you want to make, there's a chocolate mint for Christmas a couple years ago, my daughter and I made, my middle daughter and I made little chocolates. We took old advent calendars and we took some dairy-free, soy-free chocolate chips and we melted them and we put like 1 or 2 drops of peppermint essential oil in, and we made peppermint chocolates took the old advent calendar, made little squares, and made our own little chocolates. So stuff like that is fine if you want to flavor something with the peppermint because it's emulsified in that, that chocolate. It's different than just drinking it. So just use caution. Lemon essential oil can eat through rubber. 1 cup of peppermint tea can be a strong remedy by itself. Plant medicine is also very effective when used as gentle support. Oh, there it is. For your body's own natural healing processes. More and stronger is not always better or more helpful. We are a more is better society, but you have to really use caution with doing essential oils. 1 drop, people think, oh, 1 drop, that's going to do nothing for me, but it's so concentrated that you really don't need more than 1 most of the time. And always remember this, we see a lot of liver and kidney issues come through this office, so I'm kind of seeing this, the more people I have come through, the more I'm seeing patterns of things. And the liver and the kidneys have to detox these aromatics just like they would detox any chemical because it is a phytochemical. It is a plant chemical. Even though it's natural, it's still considered a chemical. So the body still has to filter it through somehow, right? So you just have to be really careful. If you're looking for something a bit more potent than a tea, an herbal tincture is a good option for some kind of medicinal therapy that you're looking for, not the essential oils. So there's lots of uses for them. We just try to keep them from the internal use as much as we can. All right, so let's go through my top 5 essential oils for health and home. These are ones that are easy to find, and not super expensive except for the frankincense that tends to be very expensive. But lemon is my favorite. So right now in my house I'm going pretty basic lately. So I have lemon going in my kitchen, and I have On Guard, which is the immune system blend, going in my bathroom, and it's all on the first floor, and we have a 2-story farmhouse, so you can kind of smell it upstairs. I haven't put this diffuse upstairs yet because of the cats, because they like to knock them down. So I have little, strategic places where I can put them, but cats I'm kind of new to cats. I'm trying to get used to how wily they are and how they kind of just sit there and they just go, boom, and things fall. It's like all of a sudden I hear crashes all the time from the punks. So I'm used to dogs that don't really do things like that. I'm not used to the walking on the countertop thing and finding them up, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what's going on? So welcome to farm life. So lemon is really good. It cleanses, it detoxes, it freshens, it energizes, it sanitizes. People can tend to get kind of bluesy in the wintertime, so the citrus oils, if you pick a citrus oil, those are really uplifting. So people can come into your room and have citrus oil going, and they immediately feel pretty uplifted. We used to have, we change the oils out sometimes, but we used to have one in there that was a whole blend of citrus oils, and people could smell it all the way down the hall, and it was very uplifting, and people always felt better when they left the office. When they first came in, they were all like down, and then when they left, they would feel much better. We do more of the immune system stuff now because everybody's coming in sick, and we want to kind of protect our staff, so we can do that one. So you can use lemon in cleaning. So what I will do is I'll mix it with some vinegar, and there's some recipes that we'll go through. You can mix it with some white vinegar and make a cleaning spray, and it disinfects, it cleans, lots of antibacterial, fungal properties, those types of things, and it's a good sanitizer. Lavender I love because it calms, it cools, it's a very cooling oil. It freshens, it relaxes, so people tend to be more on the hot side all the time, a hot person. Lavender will kind of be the one to calm them down, cool them off. Melaleuca, that's the first oil, the tea tree oil is the very first oil that I was introduced to. So my second son is 13 going on 14, so a couple of months before he was born, I started using essential oils in my home, so about 14 years ago, and that was the first one that I ever used. And I used it in everything. I actually didn't know there were any other essential oils besides that one. I thought I didn't even know what they were until that one. So I would spray it in my air vents, and they would go through and would disinfect my air vents. It was everywhere. My whole house smelled like tea tree oil all the time. and I cleaned with it. So that is one I really do like, and I use a lot of it. I use it on cuts. I put it, if I ever go to a hospital for any reason or nursing home, I'll take a Q-tip and I'll have it blended with something like carrier oil and swab it on the inside of my nostrils. It keeps staph from colonizing in the nose, so you don't have to worry about. One of my uncles was in a nursing home for a while, and every time I would go see him, I would do that because he actually had MRSA, so I didn't want to get any of that stuff on me. So that's what I would do. And anytime, still, whenever I visit someone in the hospital, no matter what they're there for, do a little. It's habit. Just put a little swab, so I don't have to worry about that. Yeah, go ahead.
With the lemon, when you say that you put them, like, for cleansers and stuff, does it have to be in a glass bottle? Can you put it in a
You can. It won't for any length of time. Yeah. The more diluted it is, the less likely it is to corrode it. But it will tend to eat through things to a certain extent, or leach things from the bottle. So it's better to have it in a really high quality, like a hard plastic, like the polyethylene. BPA-free bottles, or a glass bottle of some kind, or it won't be in there very long. If you use it up fast, then it's okay. So I do have a couple that are plastic bottles. They're it's very diluted because it's a bigger bottle, and it doesn't seem to be going through. You can start to smell it too. Sometimes when you smell the bottle, it's coming out the pores of the plastic, and you know that it's probably leaching yucky stuff into it too. So, Melaleuca oil is wonderful. There's actually a lot of, if you go to PubMed, there's a lot of studies about tea tree oil and how well it can kill MRSA. So when things have become antibiotic resistant like MRSA, Melaleuca oil actually kills it when nothing else will. So people are using it topically for really bad cases of staph and MRSA, and it's working when it's antibiotic resistant. So that's really good. So when all else fails, if we have our little arsenal of essential oils, if we all become antibiotic resistant, we will survive the apocalypse, right? So this cleanses, sanitizes, and it's antiseptic, so it's wonderful. So my kids know. I have a little roller ball of it in a drawer in my kitchen, so whenever they get cut, they go running. They go find the Melaleuca oil, and they're like taking it and putting it, because cat scratches all the time. So they're always, my little 5-year-old, he's always grabbing the Melaleuca oil and rubbing it on. Not really. If there's a lot, if it's like a big cut, or like one that's like a rug burn type thing, it stings a little bit. It's like Bactine. It like stings for a second, it's gone. That's what it kind of is like. So they usually are okay with it.
So Sarah, Ann and I are both nurses. So how often do you swab?
I usually just once a day. Yeah, just once a day. You'll know because you can smell it in your nose.
So if we just do it once at the
yeah,
beginning
just
of our
once.
shift.
Yeah. Yeah, and you can even make yourself a tea tree oil, like some kind of like homemade hand sanitizer, homemade lotion with the tea tree oil in it, and you can put it on your hands too. And then tea tree oil is very drying, so you have to be careful. So as long as it's very diluted, that therapeutic effect can be on your hands too when you're touching things. And you're probably wearing gloves anyway too most of the time, but it can be helpful if you have any little cuts on your hands, that type of thing. So yeah, I love it. It keeps the stuff away. I had a I guess, I'm trying to think, was it a month and a half ago or so? Two of my dogs tried to kill one of my cats outside. They chased him down. Still learning that cats and dogs don't get along very well. And so I, like an idiot, ran and tried to break them up. So they got me, like by accident. They didn't realize who was who. So the cat got me, the dog got me. They put 2 holes in my hand, ripped my hand open. And the one, I thought they were healing up nicely, but the one, I got cellulitis underneath, so it started to puff out. My husband's like, "You're going to lose your finger." And he's like, "You need to go to the hospital." Well, I don't do hospitals, so we're not doing that. So I had Melaleuca oil, so I kept putting Melaleuca oil, and it was painful. I could feel it all the way down the joint. Never got the red line or anything, so I knew I was good. And I make an Amish black salve, which is a drawing salve that has some essential oils in it and stuff too. So I would put the Amish black salve on it and wrap it, and then do that once a day, and then put the Melaleuca on it once a day. You can't even tell it's there. No pain, it's gone, never had to go to the doctor, didn't lose my finger, so we're all good. So it really does work for those things that you would think that you might have. Not saying you shouldn't go to the emergency room for things, not saying that. Emergency room's there for a reason. But if you can handle things this way, you have your own pharmacy in your house. It's pretty cool. You know how powerful it is.
You don't need the
The Melaleuca, the one I have is already in a roller, so it's diluted. It's the proper dilution. Yeah. I have been known to put Melaleuca and lavender are one that you can put on straight, you can. You just have to watch for if you become sensitized to it. So I used Melaleuca oil for years without diluting it, but I do dilute it now, especially with my kids, because I don't want them to get any kind of sensitivity, because I want them to be able to still use it and not have an issue. Peppermint. Peppermint is wonderful. It's wonderful for headaches. It's very another one of those cooling oils. You would think it's a hot oil, but it's kind of double-edged. So it's hot, it'll burn, but it also cools down. You like menthol. If you blow on, you put peppermint oil on and you blow on it, it's cool. It's cool, you know, has that cool feeling. It's a digestive aid. It energizes. It's good for headache relief. This is one that people use. Like I have a couple patients who have H. pylori. And like I said, sometimes they come in already have done the antibiotics, and sometimes they won't do the antibiotics, they want to get it handled here. So sometimes there's these little beadlets, like they're over there, where they have 1 drop of peppermint oil and it's encoded in a little capsule. And so you swallow it, and then it goes down in your stomach, and it helps with the bacteria and helps kind of cool things down and neutralize things. So we have used that with pretty good success in the past. And people who have H. pylori, their doctors, their gastroenterologists will usually recommend some kind of a peppermint capsule with an enteric coating so that it goes down to the intestines and kills whatever. So it can be really a good way to relieve indigestion. So that is one that you can therapeutically use 1 drop of internally occasionally, and it's okay. So frankincense. I love frankincense. It's really expensive, but it's wonderful for brain support, immune support, a mood enhancer, skin care. People use it. They'll put 1 drop on the roof of their mouth a lot of times. They're not swallowing it, it's just getting absorbed. And the reason is because it is for brain support. It will go into, it kind of helps with the brain. So people have been using it for things like, you can go on PubMed and look up the research. People have used things, they say it helps with cancer, they say it helps with dementia, with brain things like that. So I would just look up the research and kind of do your own education on that. We're not going to go through everything because it would take us hours. We could pick one. We could do a one-day conference on one oil. That's how much information on some of these oils and how many studies that there have been. They've done studies on thieves. They have done studies on Guard and the protective qualities of them. There's just tons of studies out there that you can look at. Yes?
Are you diluting the frankincense to put it in your mouth?
Most people don't. I would recommend. It's kind of here's the thing. It's hard. It doesn't absorb as well when you put it in an oil here. It seems like it doesn't do what it's supposed to do. So people will just put 1 drop and then stick it up there. I guess I'm not definitive on that as far as.
You do it every day.
Yeah, yeah. I've done it. Well, I did it once straight. It's pretty. I feel like it's pretty strong, but I feel like if you do it with a carrier or on the roof of the mouth, it doesn't work as well. It's too slippery, and then you're going to get it down your throat. So if you put it directly up there, it stays. It goes right in. But the carrier oil kind of makes it. And you're not trying to swallow the oil. You're trying to just get it for the therapy. So yeah.
If you just diffuse it, you get the similar
Mhm.
effects.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Or another way to have it for aromatherapy is you can put a drop or 2 on a tissue or handkerchief, put it in your pocket, and every once in a while just pull it out and just breathe it in. And that can be helpful for aromatherapy. So pretend you're blowing your nose, but just inhale. And smell it. If you know you're going into a really stinky room, you can just kind of do that.
Sarah, where do you get those roller things from? Do you have to buy them from like an apothecary?
You can get some of them pre-made, but you can actually go on Amazon and get empty ones. That's where I get all mine. You can get them because I make these. There's
And
one.
You do the carrier, you do the fractionated
Mhm.
coconut oil
Yeah.
with it, and then a few drops.
Yeah, so these are the ones that I made. This is the Xanacalm. So this is a blend of calming oils. So you can see it's clear. And I use the fractionated coconut oil and then 12 drops of whatever essential oil that I'm using. I think I use 12 drops of each, so the ratio is correct.
Okay.
And then, so you can have it go a long way. So when I even want to make the bug spray, which I have some pre-made ones here that doTERRA makes, but I make my own too, that are in a 4-ounce bottle. And you can do 60 drops of 40 to 60 drops of the TerraShield, and then you probably make 6 to 8 bottles, so it helps to save money. So diluting actually saves money too, because you're not using the straight oil. So it's a good way to make your oil stretch a lot farther. So yeah, these are really, really inexpensive. The bottles and the rollers on Amazon, Super, super cheap, and you can get a ton of them. I feel like the more in bulk they are, the less the price is. Another site, excuse me, that you can get them is Aroma Tools. Aroma Tools is another site you can get things to. And then I have one site listed at the end that I got these cool, where are they? These little inhalers. They come in all different colors. So it's like a little personal inhaler that so there's a little ball in here. So you can see the little jar, and there is the place where you put a drop of essential oil that absorbs it, and then you put it back in, you put the lid on, and there's holes in the lid, and then you just open up, and it's literally an inhaler. You just inhale the aroma. So people who have asthma, there's a specific asthma blend, or ADD, ADHD. Hang on a second. Got my battery dying here. And you can use this for those types of things. Or if you're in an airplane, you will get yelled at if you pull out essential oil and like your own little personal diffuser. They have those personal diffusers. You'll get yelled at. The person next to you will yell at you. The stewardess or flight attendant will yell at you. And I have a friend who tried it, and she's so mad because they made her turn it off. I said, if you just had one of these, you would have been fine. You just take it out, smell it, somebody was sneezing next to her, you know, that kind of thing. You're like, you know. Yeah. Oh, no, actually, I think this is from River. I wrote on the back. River Tree Life. They have a lot of cool stuff on rivertreelife.com, and that's actually listed at the back. But I'm actually going back to Florida for some more training in the first weekend in February, and I will have mine with me because it's winter and people have all sorts of things on the airplane. So let's go. No, go ahead.
The clear bottles or the dark amber or the blue bottles,
that is to keep the oils from getting degraded from the light, so it helps to protect them. So the roller balls, they're in a carrier oil. They're usually okay. They have a label around them. But if you're going to be storing these for a long time, the roller balls get used up faster. These, I mean, I can store them for a couple of years and not have to worry about them because they're in a dark bottle. It won't oxidize. Any carrier oils are going to be fine. But sometimes you should never see one come in a clear bottle. Like an essential oil would never come that way. A roller ball might, but a regular one wouldn't. They'll be in the dark. It's to protect the qualities because the light will destroy the therapeutic qualities of it. So let's go over a couple of these fun recipes. These are really easy. You just need a few simple ingredients. So these are all different blogs. And since I do have, my blog is realfoodatlas.com, so I have a lot of blogger friends, and we share lots of different things. So, what's that? Did somebody ask?
She wanted to know your
Oh, realfoodatlas.com.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So the DIY lavender linen spray is from Hopefully, and all you need is a jar, some witch hazel or vodka, some essential oil of lavender, some water, a funnel, a spray bottle, and then label it. Always label your stuff. When I was unpacking my apothecary, I'm like, man, what a dummy. There was actually some things that were not labeled. I had to throw them away. I had no idea what they were. They were tinctures I had made. And tinctures, if you make a tincture, it takes at least 6 weeks to make, 6 weeks to 2 months to have a tincture. And if you have one that doesn't have a label on it, oh man, you can't use it. I'm like, I always think, oh, I remember, I'll do it later. No, not going to happen. So there's one for linen spray, there's one for a mold and mildew spray. So when you have that mold and mildew in your shower, this is really super helpful. The tea tree oil, eucalyptus, lavender, you can even throw some clove in there, some cedar wood, that can be helpful as well. Put it into a spray bottle, directly on the mold or mildew. Leave it on for 30 minutes if you have that black mold in your shower that kind of creeps into the grout. It can be really helpful to get it clean. Dr. Axe, who I really like, he is has lots of really good information. He's a little bit more liberal with the ingesting of the oils, so I kind of like, but he has some really good, very inexpensive, sometimes free essential oil classes. So you can go on his site, and they're really, really good. So I would recommend, and he's fun to watch anyway, because he's a very nice looking man, and he's very, very, very authoritative when he talks. He's just very, and he knows his stuff. So definitely check that out. You will get a lot of good information. So stress reducing solution, he has some really good ones. He has an aromatherapy blend and a bath blend. So that's both there for you. And as I said, you can see you blend it with the Epsom salts when you're doing it in the bath. So Epsom salts, any Epsom salts are fine. Epsom salt baths are wonderful because they detox the body and they also give your body some magnesium. And most of us are deficient in magnesium, so getting an Epsom salt bath has a wonderful therapeutic purpose of not only detoxing your body but also giving you some magnesium that you need. And magnesium seems to do best when it's absorbed through the skin rather than taken internally. So a lot of times it can be good for pain. So I know you have some pain issues. All people have pain issues. Sitting in a nice bath, which I don't like baths, so I don't take my advice. I don't like water. So, but if you like baths, then you can sit in a bath for about 45 minutes or so with Epsom salts and some of these essential oils, and it really can relieve the pain and muscle cramping. And I also have a pain salve over there that I don't know, I can't tell you how many of those I've sold. I never can keep them in stock. I've been selling them online for years and in the shop here, and I have so many repeat customers because it works for arthritis, all sorts of different pain. And I have one with cayenne, one without, and there's about 8 different essential oils that I use in those to really help relieve pain. It's like an icy hot, but it's homemade. It's really, really good. It's the pain salve, the pain begone salve that I use. I think your dad might have gotten some from me. Yeah, I think you did. There's a sleep aid in here, so lavender, frankincense, cedarwood, and bergamot. Bergamot or bergamot, however you want to pronounce it, we call that the angry oil at our house. It helps with the anger in the house. So anytime somebody's in a bad mood, one person in my house who will not be named is usually angry. So whenever he's angry, we put the bergamot on and it calms everybody down. So sometimes in the morning I'll just preemptively stick it on the diffuser because I know it will be good. Will be good. So it really does chill everybody out. So, and then we'll do the balance and the serenity. Well, sometimes we'll do that, and those are all like the lavender oils and other oils. Because we homeschool, so everybody has to be getting along, and if kids are fighting, that nothing's happening. So if I always have this oil. Some kind of oil is always going in my kitchen where we do our work, because if it's not, then there's usually some kind of altercation of some kind. So we just want to make sure. And then I just have to always watch with pets. Some oils are not compatible with certain pets. So always just look up. I didn't print a list because we all don't have pets, so, or maybe we do, I'm not sure. But you can always look that up. Look up safe essential oils for pets or toxic essential oils for pets, and you'll know what to not diffuse around them. Tea tree oil is one that you don't want to diffuse too much, or you don't want to put on them too much, because that can cause them to have some kind of reactions depending on the animal. So you do have to watch those. Just like some foods are not good for them, like chocolates, there's some oils that aren't good for them either. We've got the sleep aid that we talked about. We've got also cramp prevention blend. I asked my girls here what they thought would be some good blends, and they said let's do something for cramps. And so we do cramp prevention and a PMS blend. Clary Sage is wonderful for all stages of reproductive health. So from premenstrual all the way through menopause, Clary Sage is one of those. Has a pretty name too. It's a pretty plant. It's a really lovely smelling oil, and it's really nice. It's very safe oil, so it's nice to use for cramps and those types of women type issues. And then you can just combine the oils into a glass dropper bottle and apply either aromatherapy or as a massage oil. We have a really fun Drainie chamomile spritz. It really smells really nice and has 1 drop of peppermint, so it has a little bit of a minty scent, but it doesn't overpower the others. And it's really, really nice for lifting your spirits, for calming at the same time. Bright Spirit Citrus Blend. This is wonderful for this time of year with the bergamot and the lime, the lavender. I really like this one. We have diffusing right now is 1 drop of ylang ylang, 2 drops of grapefruit, and 2 drops of bergamot. So that's what we have diffusing right now, and that's what I have that going in my house a lot. Sometimes I'll add 1 drop of spearmint to give it like a minty, for the spring. That's like my spring blend. It's very, it smells very springy, but I like it for the house when people are coming over. Cough blend. So this is one that you would diffuse, or you would put it in the shower. So if somebody's having issues with maybe croup, or you're having some issues that way, you can put a couple drops in your shower, steam up the bathroom, and just inhale it, and then take the child outside into the cold air, and then kind of alternate. So they're getting that, and that usually stops croup. I have 4 kids, and I have never had to take any of them to the hospital for croup, and they've had it. I mean, I'm not saying we didn't have croup. We had issues, but we never had to do anything besides homeopathics and essential oils, because we were always able to stop it. by doing these methods of using the oils and using some homeopathics and using the cold air, and they've always come through with flying colors and supporting their immune system that way. So some of these things, the color is messed up, so I apologize. All right, so the cough lines, eucalyptus. Now you have to watch, there's some new studies about eucalyptus in entire amounts not being safe for children under the age of 10. Just my theory on that is there's not enough information for me to say definitively that you shouldn't use all these, the hotter oils on kids under the age of 10. You can come to your own conclusions. I just use less. So Robert Tiercerand, who does a lot of research for this type of thing, there's a little handout I can probably, actually, if you go to Mommy Potamus, you know who Mommy Potamus is, Heather Dessinger? If you go to mommypotamus.com and just look up essential oils, she has an entire booklet that she wrote with advice on what to do for younger children, like under the age of 10, as far as essential oils. And basically, it doesn't say eliminate the ones that they're saying to eliminate, like eucalyptus and cinnamon and clove. It just says to just do a lot less. So in your diffuser, just put 1 or 2 drops of the eucalyptus instead of 5. So just use only 1 to 2 for the little kids, and in a more open area, not in like a closed room, because it can cause some sensitivity issues, lungs, things like that. So these are the oils that have always worked for my kids, always worked for us. I'm not ready to throw the baby out with the bathwater yet and say I'm never going to use these for kids under the age of 10. I just would use less. When more information comes out and actual research, that's been done, then maybe I'll change my tune. But for me, just use less and it's safe. I don't feel I need to throw everything out yet. All right, so then on the back, for further research, you can visit aromaweb.com. There's a bunch of books here. doTERRA, I have doTERRA available here for people to buy when they come in. And then there's the website. I do have a Young Living account as well. I don't have the website anymore because they make you pay for one, and I don't want to do that. So like I said, I prefer doTERRA over Young Living only because I don't like some of the prices are higher. Young Living prices are higher, and some of their blends I just not liked at all, and I've never not liked any of the doTERRA ones. I like all of their stuff. So that's one of the reasons why. And then I've just done doTERRA for more before. I've been using doTERRA oil since before they were popular, so that's why I kind of like them. And then River Tree Life, like I said, they have really good supplies. And then Mountain Rose Herbs. I get a lot of my dry herbs to make my teas and my salves and things from there. I really like them. You can also get our acacia from Frontier. We run a Frontier Club out of the office. So if you ever wanted to get in on the Frontier Club, they have bulk herbs, bulk spices, bulk bath body stuff. Like you can get things in bulk at wholesale prices. We run it through the office. People pick it up from here. But you can get our acacia, and then you guys can get them from Triple Oaks has them, right? The acacia. Yeah, down in Franklinville. So any questions? Anything I didn't cover that you wish I would cover, or want me to elaborate on, or anything like that? Yeah.
I don't know if I missed it in the beginning, but the oils come from the herbs from the ground.
Yeah, they from the plant material, so it's the fresh. Yeah, they take the fresh plant, they take the fresh material, whether it be the peels, was that spearmint? I just touched it, I see it on my hands, felt it. Whether it be the leaves, the stems, the petals, or the peels, and they just put it through, and it goes, the steam comes through, up through it, and then the oils kind of evaporate through, and they go around, and then they separate, so you have the hydrosol and the actual oil. It's a really cool process. You can if you look up old time distillers, there's been distillers. I mean, they've used essential oils since Bible times. Ancient China used essential oils, so they've been used for thousands of years safely. And I mean, they use them to embalm, like kind of preserve the body, almost like embalming. They use them to anoint kings. They use them to, Mary and Martha used them to anoint the feet of Jesus. Like they've been used for a long time, even back in the Old Testament. So this is not something, that's what they brought to Jesus, and the wise men brought. I mean, frankincense and myrrh, they were the precious oils. They were worth a lot of money, and they still are. So these are things that we shouldn't, I don't want to feel like I'm overemphasizing the safety part and scaring you away from using them. Everything needs to be used safely. Everything we do here, I mean, you can abuse anything. You can abuse any herb, anything. As long as you're just using them safely and diluting them, they're perfectly safe. My kids can blend their own.
Wow,
So,
great.
yeah.
The Amish salves,
Mhm.
I guess you make, what would you use that for?
I use it as a drawing salve, so anything I want to pull out. So if you have any kind of a cut or something that you want to pull something out of, or like the cellulitis, or I had somebody, a patient, his husband has a tattoo that's become like poisoned or infected, and it's like under the skin. He's putting the black salve on it to draw it out. Bee stings, anything you want to pull out of the body. Splinters, they work for splinters. You put it on a splinter, it draws it out. So it's a drawing salve. Yeah, it's black, so it turns the skin a little black. You have to scrub it off at the end, but it works really, really well. I really like it. So, any other questions? Yeah.
How many drops in the diffuser do you usually put?
2 to 5.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 2 to 5.
2 to 5, but you can mix and match.
Mhm.
So 2 to 5 of each one.
I usually do 2 to 5 total.
Okay.
Unless I'm doing, so I usually don't put more than 5 different oils in. So if I was going to do a blend of 5 oils, I just do 1 drop of each.
Okay.
Yeah, and then there's different blends that you can do, and that's not like gospel. Like there's some blends that will say do 2 drops of this, 4 drops of this, and you just have to know that the drops that it's going to be more than 5 drops. It's going to be a lighter scented oil. It's going to be less strong. It's going to be maybe the citrus oils will be a little bit more. But in general, I'm using 2 to 5 drops, especially if it's in a smaller space, because it's going to be really strong. And I usually do the lower setting. So on my diffuser, I will do, depending on what diffuser you have, it can be a 4-hour, an 8-hour setting. I will usually do the longer setting because it's going to be less in the air. Unless I have somebody coming over in 5 minutes and I want to make it really smell really, really fast, I put it on the full blast. Yes.
Is there any difference in the diffusers?
Yes. Some of them are water diffusers, so they can be used to humidify the air as well. And some of them are, what are they called? Vaporizer. They're called vaporizer, where you actually put the essential oil bottle, not that size, this size, screw it in there, and it pulls it out. And it lasts a lot longer. There used to be one that I used to have, this is just new a couple of weeks ago. I used to have that one in here for the last couple of years, but it finally conked out and I couldn't, they don't make it anymore. It was Nebair, or Nebulizer, that's what it's called, Nebair. I don't know if they're discontinued forever or if they're gonna come back, but I really liked it because I didn't have to keep refilling it. And that you can put it on a timer, so you could put it on for 30 minutes and then it would go off, or you could put it on so it would only squirt out stuff every 60 seconds instead of every 5, so you could really regulate it. There's all different kinds. So there's those types. There's ones that have like more of a narrow spout and it kind of comes up almost like a genie lamp. There's this kind, which is this is what I'm giving away tonight. They have them at Whole Foods. They're really, really nice. It's more of a decorative glass, but it's going to come out the top. You're going to have the vapor come out the top. Yes.
Does it matter what kind of water you use? Like, should it be distilled?
I just put regular tap water. They say that if you, for some reason they always say don't use filtered water, and I don't know why, but I'm assuming it doesn't, because they takes the minerals out. If you don't have the minerals in the water, it doesn't fizzes. I don't know, it doesn't vapor or something, because they always say don't use. You can use this. I think you can use distilled. I don't know. I know I just use tap, and I don't remember why. That's probably a good question. There's a reason. But it's been such a long time since I looked at why. Yeah, it doesn't even say on here.
Yeah, my husband was telling me, he said, you should use distilled because the water could be hard and then it'll, I was like, I don't even know what that means.
Yeah.
I don't even know.
Most of them come with a little cleaner thing that you just like a brush to take, because there's a little silver, looks like a battery almost in the middle, and that will get all gunky. So the water here turns it red. The inside of the diffuser turns it red. And then it has like a gunk. I don't know if it's the minerals, but this water here is not filtered. The one in my house doesn't do that. It's different. I have well water at my house, so I don't know what the difference is if there's chemicals in the water. But yeah.
Now, does your diffuser, mine has like a little compartment, and then it has the big thing that you fill with water.
Mm-hmm.
Am I supposed to be putting the oils in the big thing, or in that little, like, is one for more concentrated?
I just put it directly in the water usually. Usually, if you want to put it in the top, so that one, if I pull the little spout off, you can put it in and it'll drip through, it'll drip in. So if you don't want to take the whole thing apart, you can use that little hole to put more in if you wanted to, or just add them that way.
I wasn't sure what that was for.
Yeah, you can put them in there. Regular humidifiers too. I used to have a regular humidifier that I would just put essential oils in the regular humidifier. You just have to wash humidifiers in general because if you don't clean them out enough, they do get moldy. And had to get rid of a few. They're really hard to clean too. They really should make them easier. The diffuser's easy because it's just the one bowl. You just clean it out and you're good. So yeah. So there are oils up here that you can smell and try. I wouldn't put any on your skin unless it has a carrier oil. You can look at the back. And then we're going to give away some too. So any other questions? Yes?
How often should you clean out your diffuser?
They say after each use, but I'm not going to do that. I don't have time. Who has that kind of time? I usually just clean this out every once a week or so. We're here. The ones at home, I usually just rinse. The well water doesn't make it as gunky as the water here. So this one, we usually just take the brush once a week. We're only here 3 days, so. But yeah, every couple of weeks I'll look at it. You know, if it's starting to get weird, I'll clean it out. It just takes a couple of seconds, but every day it doesn't work. Some of the spa vapors, I think that's a spa vapor. Spa vapors used to break. I had one, I guess, 5 or 6 years ago. I went through 3 in a couple of months, and they kept telling me that it was from not cleaning it. I'm like, no, they were just really faulty. I think since then that they've revamped them, but you can go on Amazon and get some really pretty diffusers for you know, less than $50, and you can get them different colors for your kids' rooms. You can go on the plant therapy website if you want and get they have like a kid safe blend kit of all like sniffles and all these blends for different things that are named appropriately for what you need. You just grab it and stick it in a diffuser and you're good. So when my niece was born, I bought a whole bunch of the kid safe ones from here because I knew that my sister wasn't well versed in the, you know, how to use the oils, and if it was, you know, kid safe and already blended for her, she could just do it that way. So that's a good thing to do. If you know that if you're not really well versed in blending yourself, there are the blends you can use already made, which is really nice. So yeah. Yeah, so get some oils and experiment because it's a lot of fun. Your house will smell wonderful. My kids love it when I make those salves because it smells so nice in the house, and you know, like mint and all these other things. They always come in, they're like, ah, and it relaxes them. They get very relaxed when they're around the oils. So it's a nice thing to have, especially if you have any, you know, strong personalities around, or if you're feeling stressed or whatever. So yeah. So any other questions? Yes.
I don't know if you answered this one. I asked about. We have cats too.
Mhm.
I read about the liver and things like that. I think it's the liver.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Does that make a difference if the oil is put on the cat or in the diffuser?
Yeah, it does make it. Depending on the oil, it'll make a difference. Yeah. So if you're going to be if they're in a closed area, so say with like tea tree oil, and it's a small area, you might not want to have it too high of a concentration. I do have the tea tree oil going in my bathroom sometimes, just like a drop or two, but it doesn't seem to bother them. But I wouldn't put it on their skin.
Yeah, but just the diffuser.
And the diffuser is fine.
Spray bottles and come off the floors.
Most of the time it's okay, depending on the oil. You just have to look for the contraindications and see what specifically it does, and then it'll tell you if it's toxic inhaled or toxic on the skin. It depends on the oil, but yeah, it's usually a liver issue. They can't process the chemical like we can, so then it causes some. And their kitty livers are kind of sensitive anyway, liver and kidney. So yeah, it's usually the tea tree oil and sometimes the citrus oil. They don't like citrus anyway, so anytime I have a lemon on the counter, they run the other direction. I don't know what that is. Like, phew.
That's one way to keep your counters clean.
Yeah, lemon oil. Hey, maybe that'll keep them off the counter. They're always up there, stealing my breakfast. So, any other questions? Yes.
Tea tree and Melaleuca, same thing?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah. Melaleuca alterifoliae is the Latin name, so they kind of interchangeable. Anybody else have a question?
Sarah, I have a very odd question.
Sure.
What the heck is in Skin So Soft
What is in Skin So Soft?
oil? Because it's
Ah.
supposed to, you know, repel mosquitoes and maybe,
Yeah.
and maybe it does. I was just always curious.
That's a good
what
question.
it was.
Avon, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, good question. I'm not sure. I wonder if it's a proprietary formula that they don't tell
I
anybody.
guess so, because the scent, I mean, it's only that,
Yeah.
is the only thing.
I know my grandmother used to give us that for our dogs. We used to put it on our dogs when I was a kid.
Yeah, all
Yeah.
kinds of things.
So I know that smell really well. I'm not sure what's in it. If they have essential oils or if they have something else. Yeah, go ahead.
My son was recently diagnosed with ADHD,
Mhm.
so I was looking to do essential oils with him. What would you recommend for me to start?
There's a blend called Jetty Blend. Let me see if I can find it on here. Jetty Blend. Let me get out of this. I'll tell you exactly what the blend is. I think it's JED. Let me see if I can pull this up without freaking out, honey. spelled that way or not. I don't know. So. How it's spelled. Oh yeah, there it is. Jetty Blend, J-E-D. Yeah, there it is. J-E-D-D-Y, Jetty's Blend. So, you can make it yourself. I'm going to see if the recipe's in here.
There's one called Focus or something too that's already blended from doTERRA. It's in a roller.
Yeah.
Put it on their neck.
Let's see. It's lavender, sweet marjoram, Roman chamomile, ylang ylang, sandalwood, vanilla, spruce, rosewood. So it's a lot of stuff. Blue, German chamomile, frankincense, vetiver, patchouli, and fractionated coconut oil. Then you can look that up, and then or you can just get the blend. It's available. I think Spark Naturals picked it up, but it's available other places as well. So it's lots of good, the calming oils.
Does this plant therapy have a?
I think they do. Yeah, they have a focus, some kind of focus blend as well. There was another one. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, that's my anti-inflammatory foods. Oh yeah, so this is the Mommy Potamus thing, that using essential oils safely with babies and children. So she has this whole thing, and you can see lists that you can get for what's okay to use around babies and kids, and at what ages. And so I really like that as well.
Can you scroll back to the name of it, please?
It is using essential
No,
oils
at the bottom,
safely.
Mommy.
Oh, Mommy Potamus. Yeah. Yeah, and then Dr. Axe had one too. Where is it? Oops, my river tree. On draxe.com, there's this 101 essential oils for 101 ways to use essential oils.
Wow.
And there's no way to print it without taking up a million pages because of how it's done. There's no print option. So they have different ways to use them for cleaning at home. You can scroll down, and then they have little cool infographics so you can kind of see. So it's really good. So clean kitchen smell, washing your produce, bathroom freshener, vacuum cleaner, homemade sunscreen, mint tea, which you know how I feel about that. Eliminate smoke, detoxifying the air, etc., etc. So there's plenty of resources, and that's usually pretty good. I just kind of ignore the ones where it says to drink them. So spa relaxation, etc. All right, so very cool. So that is a very basic essential oil class to get you started, because it can be very overwhelming because there's so many of them. As you can see, there's over 101 ways to use them. So I want to give away some stuff now, so I'm going to shut off the bye Facebook friends. See you soon.